as Butch Reed and the Iceman come roaring in to take on the giant Kamala, who is battling with Butch Reed here on your left, and in the opposite corner is Dr. Death and the Iceman. Kamala's in for trouble. Reed and the Iceman ganging up on him, and a crashing blow right into the midsection. And this tag team event has started before there was any bell, before there was an introduction, and Butch Reed, who again has painted his face in that savage manner just to show Kamala that he too can revert to being a savage anytime that he wants to. Kamala in with his arch rival, Butch Reed. And when I say arch rival, I mean exactly that. There is a rivalry between this pair that transcends most anything that happens in the ring. Outside the ring, there is a rivalry. And Kamala has just caught one of those Butch Reed wallops that finds its man and does damage. Outside, General Skandar Akbar, who is trying to make himself understood by Kamala. Kamala, outside the ring, a quiet man who never says a word. And inside that ring, a man who knows that when he wins, he gets more of the things that make life worthwhile. Now it's Dr. Death and Butch Reed. Butch in the corner, the doctor pushing him, referee Ron West doing the counting and trying to get them to break cleanly and step back. And oh, there was a beautiful view of that arm drag, and whoops, I almost got Dr. Death in my face that time. So Reed is up in the ring, and Reed right now has this crowd so solidly with him as they watch Dr. Death on the outside. They keep an eye on Kamala up in the corner, and there's Reed waiting now for his opponent, getting a lot of advice from the fans. I tell you, the hot rivalry between Kamala and Butch Reed is a savage thing, and Butch Reed wants it that way. He says, I want to show that man that there is something primeval in all of us, and he hasn't got a corner on the market. So Reed is aping Kamala, irritating him with the gestures that he was making off camera. And now Kamala looking for the soft spot, driving that wallop in there with solid smashing effect. And Reed being pushed away and backed up, and he learns when he sees something works, he'll use it. And Kamala's in deep trouble. So Kamala steps out, Dr. Death comes in, and Kamala starts that climb up the ropes. And with his close to 400 pounds, you have got to pay attention when he starts climbing and climbing and climbing. There are 3 steps up that rope, and he reaches the top one every time with all that weight. I don't want to be under him when he falls, or jumps, or leaps, or does a swan dive, or whatever he may do to crush his opponent underneath into that mat. Butch Reed moving nicely, and Butch Reed again snares that arm and snatches it over. And here comes the Iceman. Oh, he came in there with that diving headbutt. The cannonball came in, and it hit solidly and hit hard. the Iceman trying to manage that arm and manage Dr. Death. It doesn't always work out that way. 5 minutes have gone by, and he hit him solidly with that flying body block, and it was a beauty. So a pair of high fives on the outside, and Butch Reed stays on the outside. The Iceman cometh in. Tough man, that Dr. Death, All-American wrestler at Oklahoma University. 4 years in football, played pro ball, professional wrestling. His whole life has been physical. Right now, it couldn't be much more physical than it is, with the Iceman making use of that cold, crashing head of his. So Dr. Death moved in, and he didn't move fast enough. Again, he sticks that arm out and makes a fatal error as he is grabbed and taken down. Ron West looking closely. You see Ron West watching closely as he looks for Dr. Death's shoulder to go down near that canvas, but he comes in for the drop on the bicep, the underneath part of the bicep, and on the forearm at the same time with those legs of his. That's a bruising drop. Bone hits muscle. So Dr. Death starts to climb, starts to move up, starts to stay in close to the Iceman. Purpose to throw him. Whoop! A quick switch. Oh, that's a high fall. And a quick arm drag to take him down, and he comes up with the arm bar and applies the hold solidly, applies it well. There's a touch. In comes, oh, Butch Reed made a two-point landing into the ring. And that landing was both feet onto the left arm of Dr. Death. Hammerlock, Dr. Death's in trouble. They're working on that grip and keeping him wrapped up in good fashion. You want to remember that live wrestling returns to the Sam Houston Coliseum on Friday, March 22nd. And a tremendous card. Part of it put together already, and another part that is going to be sewed in tightly. So you be sure to be at the Coliseum on Friday, the March the 22nd. The home of wrestling in Houston is the Sam Houston Coliseum, and the home of Houston wrestling is the Coliseum. So Hammerlock is the hold. Butch Reed stays there, starts pulling that arm, jerking it up behind the back, and keeping an eye on Kamala as he works on Dr. Death. We are right now planning for a huge Easter extravaganza on April the 7th here in the Coliseum. It will be live wrestling at its absolute finest. Not a picture, not television. It will be live and in the ring here at the Coliseum. So it's an arm bar as the Iceman moves in to clamp on the grip that can bend the elbow in the direction it was never meant to bend. So Iceman Parsons hangs on to that. He knows he has done damage to that arm, and he wants to follow up on it. But sometimes the arm starts to get numb, and the punishment doesn't seem to have any more effect. 10 minutes have gone by as the Iceman is lowered to the deck and now blasted with that explosive forearm wallop, the elbow coming in there to do it. And here is Kamala, clubbing blow, no science, absolute crushing power with all that weight in there, and he's got enough of the swing and enough of the clout and enough of the weight to really make it tough on the Iceman or anybody else. He came down on that hard head of Parsons, and believe me, Parsons takes a great deal of pride in the fact that he can take a lot of punishment in and around the head. You saw him lift it up there with the hands underneath the jaw as he circled the neck and got all the lift and heist that he could use. Kamala driving that wallop in under there, and he comes in to capture a handful of the pectoral muscle and pours it to him. And this is the sort of thing can make your whole arm absolutely numb, make it impossible to use if it's applied long enough and properly. Top man, Kamala, the Ugandan giant. And here comes Iceman, squirming around, trying his best now to move up into position. And they're calling for the Iceman to go, and the Iceman wants to go. And he starts swinging, but it was a feeble punch. And Kamala let go of the hold to improve his grip more than he was afraid of the blow from the Iceman. Butch Reed up here is screaming to the Iceman. And he wants to get in that ring before there is very little left of the Iceman and a loss for his team. And this time Dr. Death comes in with an advantage. Kamala has worked over the Iceman. Kamala has batted him down. And as Dr. Death comes in, he's got something to grab, something to hang on to, something to work over. Now listen to those fans as they start calling for the Iceman to maneuver into position, but he couldn't do it. And as he is taken down to that canvas, you see Dr. Death denying it all. And Steve Williams is a man who can deny it with a positive manner that is hard to deny. You see the swing by the Iceman. He's after anything he can hit, but he has not hit vital territory, and that in itself is a tough spot to be in. A little discouraging when you throw everything you've got and you hit a man where you haven't hurt him. Keeping in the top position, and there goes Kamala starting to climb the ropes, but his advisors pulled him down. General Skandar Akbar jerked him off the rope and got him down onto the ring apron again. He knew it might be a dangerous move, could endanger Dr. Death. Here comes the Iceman maneuvering around, and he missed his target for sure. A bad miss by Iceman. There are no good misses, but there are some that are worse than others. And that was one of the worst. He just literally sprawled all over that canvas. Here comes Kamala. And Kamala now comes in, and he has a viciousness that is all his own. He knows just one way, to batter a man down, to slam him through the canvas with whatever part of your body is going to reach him. And as referee Ron West gets down there, the count is 1, the count is 2.5. It was almost 3. And Iceman's in trouble. as Kamala hovers over him. And Kamala keeps in there to pour it to him. Iceman trying to fight his way up. Iceman being pursued by Kamala as they both rise at the same time, but they're back in the corner. That gives Dr. Death a chance to come in. They're both in there, and they both clobber him down. They lower the boom. They drive him in. The touch. Here is Butch Reed, but the referee didn't see it. The referee didn't see it. Over the top rope goes the Iceman, with the referee still worrying about Butch Reed coming in that ring. But Butch got a legal toss, and right now he is swinging in all directions. His partner is outside the ring. He went over the top rope onto the concrete. And now Butch Reed is also out on the concrete. And so is Dr. Death. He is right here alongside of us. And up in the ring, it's Kamala and the Iceman. And the referee is counting Iceman down. That means that the referee's ruling was that the man who belonged in the ring was the Iceman and not Butch Reed. And we had people scattered all over, people out on the concrete, and right now we have the Iceman down and out as his partner hovers over him. We'll be back. And here is Butch Reed, who on the 22nd is going to be in against his arch rival Kamala.
That's right. You see people, the war paint is still on. It's all over my face now. That's because me and the Iceman just got through battling tooth and nail. These people right here in Houston seen it. And Akbar and Friday, they still got their hands in the pie. When we got them on the run, you understand, Akbar finds some kind of devious way to pull the plug out from what we got going, you understand? So next time I come into Houston, it all changes. I got that Savage by myself in a lumberjack match where whoever gets thrown out the ring gets thrown back in, and whoever can take it the most, baby, will be the last one in the ring, and Butch Reed plans on being the last person in the ring. My war paint is still on, Mr. Butch, and in Houston, Texas, the war will still be on, and I plan on ending it right here in Houston.
Butch Reed, and he has never, ever let his fans down.